What's going on, guys? My name is Eldeniro and welcome to episode 29 of my Leicester City career mode on FIFA 15. We're starting this episode off with a bid for Mohamed Diame. We're going back in for him because I feel like I can get him. He's only 2.1 million, so I bid 1.2 plus David Nugent because I thought he's worth 2 million. He wants to get gone. I want to get him gone. I'm sick of looking at him, and it would just be great if we could offload him and get in someone else in the same deal. So our next game is against Arsenal, and as you can see from this snapshot of the league table, we are fighting to maintain our 4th place. A draw would do for us, but it's Arsenal and they have a habit of fucking things up whenever we need them to go in our favour. Their team is ridiculous. They've got Dzeko up front, they've got Oxlade-Chamberlain, they've got Ramsey, they've added Morgan Schneiderlin into the mix as well. Our team has got the 4-4-2 holding midfield with Tom Ince making his debut on the right hand side of midfield after we confirmed the signing of him in the last episode. I don't have a question for this episode, but one thing I did really want to say was thank you for all of the support on the series so far. I kind of say it a lot and I often get worried that I say it too much, but I kind of feel like I don't say it enough. But the support on this series has been ridiculous. The best support I've ever had on any series ever, and I still can't believe it's maintained as much popularity as it has. I kind of expected it to just drop off right now. I suppose I'm a pessimist, but it's really awesome. Like, I really appreciate it, and thank you all very much. Like, we've nearly got 30,000 subscribers on this channel, which is just unbelievable to me. But our first chance of the game came in the 22nd minute with Dwight Gale having a finesse shot with his left foot, and I don't know why he didn't hit it with his right foot into the far corner and Thierry Henry it, as it were, because that's what I was trying to do, but that's not how it worked out. And Arsenal came on the attack 6 minutes later from a free kick, and Schneiderlin managed to hit it over from an open goal, but it actually did go out for a corner. I think John Stones stepped in to save the day and head it over the bar before Schneiderlin could actually make any proper contact with it. And they took the corner kick short. They tried to pass and move with Wilshere playing it into Koscielny, and they do that a lot, Arsenal do. They do these really intrinsical short passing moves that's so difficult to defend against, and I have kind of criticised this game for not really having enough variation in the way that the AI teams play, and that's not actually true. It's just that some of them play a little bit worse than others, and Arsenal just play incredible. They're so hard to play against on this game. But in the 45th minute, Jack Wilshere's header had to be tipped over by Kasper Schmeichel in the Leicester City goal, and we come into the second half trying to get something out of the game, trying to move forward. Wilfried Zaha picks up the ball in a good position, and Ronaldo chops around Koscielny before finessing it just over the bar. I thought that was very unfortunate. I thought we deserved the goal from that. But in the 56th minute, Debuchy comes tearing down the right hand side of the pitch. His cross finds Ramsey. Actually, it doesn't. It gets headed away, but it comes out to Wilshere, who plays it to Ramsey, who plays it to Wilshere, who plays it to Dzeko, who places it into the corner of the net and gives the hosts the lead after just 56 minutes. And that was incredibly annoying for me because it was such a ridiculous move. You never know where to slide when Arsenal get into the box, and placing tackles is incredibly difficult. But about 10 minutes after they scored that, they came forward again. This time it was Aaron Ramsey having a shot from distance. It was saved by Kasper Schmeichel and eventually cleared by us. And then we came forward in the 70th minute with Jeffrey Schlupp playing. He came on as a second half substitute. He picks the ball up here to get round Koscielny, goes in towards the box and shoots. And Chesney had to... Chesney? What a difficult name to pronounce sometimes that is. He had to be pretty good and on guard to save it. But 6 minutes later, he couldn't save this shot as Jeffrey Schlupp equalises for us. He is such an absolute hero of a player. I don't even know what his rating is, if it's still 64, maybe it's 67 or something now. I initially thought he was offside, but as you can see from this replay, he actually wasn't, and he did get us the equaliser. Arsenal came forward, pushing everything forward. We went to park the bus mentality almost immediately, and Koscielny picked the ball up on the edge of the area. He plays a 1-2 with Santi Cazorla, and fucking Laurent Koscielny scores an incredible goal with his left foot, and Arsenal go back to their tradition of breaking my heart within the final 5 minutes of their games. And after all the work we did trying to keep them out as long as we did, all of the little bits of play going forward, eventually getting the equaliser, all being undone by a goal from a centre half playing as a centre forward, and that's how that game ends. And I was incredibly disappointed, but I did take this opportunity to show you guys Tom Ince's stats just in case anyone was wondering, because we are in the second season now, and if you're thinking about buying him, that's probably what he looks like. But we found out that Sunderland were attempting to hijack our bid for Mohamed Diame. They've offered 1.9 million. which is a slight increase on what we wanted. Now have a look at this guy, Andy Watson. His stats are on the screen right now. That's what the scout report came back with. Those are his full stats. He doesn't look incredible by any means, but at 18 years old and standing at 6'3", I think this dude could do a job in midfield. He's only 64 rated. He's playing for Chelsea. He's only worth 200k. A bid 600k for him to try and get him in. I see him as being a player with a potential in the high 70s and someone who we could maybe even sell on for a profit in the future. I also went in and made a bid for Rohan Ince, who plays for Brighton and Hove Albion. He's actually Tom Ince's second cousin, and I made a bid of Matty James plus a couple of 100,000. I can't remember specifically how much. Was it 200? Oh, it was 150k plus Matty James, because I want to get rid of James. I didn't really like him, and I didn't really feel the need to do a bid or to do a scout job on Rohan Ince, because I thought that he looked decent enough when I looked at his stats on Foothead, which ordinarily I don't do. I also went in for Britt Assombalonga because everybody told me to. I offered 400 grand plus Dave Nugent, which I just thought I'd do for a base offer, and if they didn't like it, you know, they could reject it or they could come back with a counter proposal for us. But our next game is against Everton as we await the news on the transfer activity. Pretty much an as you were team. I think it's actually completely unchanged, that lineup is, from the game against Arsenal. Everton's team has got Pienaar, it's got Naismith, they've got McGeady, Etu and Lukaku all on the bench for some reason, but that's just the way that they play this game. And within 6 minutes, Everton were on the offensive immediately with Kevin Morales on the wing, and he nearly runs it out of play here stupidly, but does amazingly well to keep it in play the ball to Gareth Barry, who plays it into Ross Barkley in the middle, and that was almost an exact replica of the first goal that we scored in the entire series so far, except this time it was Barry who turned provider instead of the attempted finisher. But on the 30, just after the half hour mark really, Gary Gardner couldn't keep his volley down. He blasted over. That was pretty much our only chance of the entire game up to this point, and for a long time after that as well. But Morales' corner in the 39th minute almost produced a goal, but thankfully Seamus Coleman couldn't keep his shot down. It went wide, and then Everton came forward inside stoppage time at the end of the first half with Seamus Coleman crossing it in towards Morales, who got his header off, but it just hit the side net, thankfully enough. Then we come up to the hour mark with Gareth Barry finding Aidan McGeady, who came on as a second half substitute along with Lukaku. And I tried to play the ball out of defence here. It goes to Moore, who plays it off Barkley, who backheels it brilliantly into the path of Romelu Lukaku, and the Belgian forward puts the visitors 1-0 up, and that was incredibly frustrating. And I thought they were going to try and keep the ball in the corner and do that big dickhead time wasting thing, so I fouled Aidan McGeady in the 83rd minute to try and get something on the counter attack from the free kick if they did get anything from it. But Kevin Morales stood over the free kick. Plenty of options in the middle for him. They were holding nothing back. It does come to McGeady in the box, but amazingly the Scottishman who plays for Ireland managed to put that shot wide. But we came forward 2 minutes later from the kickoff with Sinclair playing the ball into John Stones, playing as a centre forward against his former club. He passes it along the ground to Camara, who gets very lucky with the chance and manages to find the back of the net and level the game for us with just 3 minutes to go. I couldn't believe he was in such a good forward position and that nobody put in a perfectly timed sliding tackle, because that tends to happen an awful lot. But it wasn't to be. We ended the game with a 1-1 draw, and it was an amazing result for a number of reasons. The first one being that I didn't play that well in that game. The form was just not really good enough. We didn't do anything. I'll show you a look at the stats actually, and that will sum up why it was a great performance. 2 shots in the whole game. You saw both of them. One of them was a terrible attempt from Gardner that went way over. And after that draw, this is how our place in the league looks now. We're 1 point ahead of Liverpool. We're level on points with Arsenal. Arsenal have a game in hand, and it looks like our push for 4th place has been postponed temporarily. I didn't actually expect to get top 4, but having held on to it for so long, it feels so difficult to relinquish it. I would love a top 4 finish at the end of this series, or the end of this season. I mean, those 2 words, I fucked them up more than any other words in the world, I think. But yeah, I don't think we're going to get top 4. I really don't. I think our form is going to dip a little bit because I feel like I've just been like riding on some kind of luck this whole time. Like, I don't feel like I've been the better team oftentimes when I get the good results. But we're putting in another bid for Watson of 750,000 because I think he can be a good player. I don't know, I just have it in my head. He's a regen, obviously, as you saw. And I also made a bid for Chris Leicester, who plays for Bolton, of 850k. Now, Bolton actually did reject that bid in the end. Spoiler alert. I don't think I'll bother showing you how that saga turned out because someone else came in and took him. But Rowan Ince, we offered him a contract. And we tried to get Assombalonga in, who I have to look at his name every time I pronounce it. 1.4 million plus Nugent was the latest bid that we offered, just to see if they would end up accepting it. And our next game, by the way, is the second leg against Brentford in the Capital One Cup. But we have a lot more transfer activity to get through just before this episode ends in the next few seconds. But we offered another deal for Andy Watson. Our bid for Leicester was rejected. I just left it because, as you can see, he's also in talks with West Ham and with Mainz 05. So I just got rid of those messages, and I found out that Mainz actually made a bid for Rowan Ince. And he didn't want to be just a squad rotation player, so I offered him a first team player role because I think he's just going to be a good CDM. I reckon his potential is high 70, I think it's 77, something like that. And I made an increased offer for Assam Belonga, keeping in mind that we had to pay for the Rowan Ince deal as well. And Assam Belonga isn't exactly an essential, or isn't exactly a necessity for us, because we have Berahino, we have Dwight Gale, we've even got Sinclair and Zaha. And to be honest, I don't really do as well with strikers as I do with midfielders anyway. But we do get Rowan Ince in. I think he's going to be a good signing. Let me know what you guys think. I might also make a bid for another player before the transfer window closes. But Nottingham Forest, their deal with for Sambalonga is going nowhere. I can't afford the fees that they're asking, so I let that deal go. I got to the contract offer stage for Andy Watson and offered him sporadic first team player role, which is a slight increase on what he has now. Hoping to get him in because I just feel like he can be a good standard passer of the ball squad player in the future. So that's what we're aiming for with him. That's the end of this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please do leave a like. That would be much appreciated. I've been El Dinero. Thanks for watching.